Greetings and salutations to all you folks out there. Got another 1 versus 1 for you today. This is a Cybern versus Cybern mirror matchup on Desert Joust. This is Broke Soul Chief is a 1388 in the top left, and Captain Chlorgas is a 1589 in the bottom right. That is a relatively evenly matched game, not terribly much distance in between them. And this map is an odd one. It has a ton of reclaim, both in the substantial amount of rocks that are scattered all over this map. You can see them there. And then also, somehow some Salem wrecks got in on this. I'm not sure what Salems are doing way out in the middle of the desert, unless they got abandoned here and this is actually like a dried up lake bed or something. I really have no idea what's going on, but it is there. Broke Soul Chief is going first land, going to build his 4 mass extractors, all engineers out of the factory at first, rush the hydro with ACU assisting, 2 extra P-gens in second air. On the southern side, we have a substantial power grid going up for for Captain Chlorgas, excuse me. He's finishing off his mass extractor with the engineer, and that is going to expand out to the left. Did build the power generator first. And that is some early aggression. We've got a Mantis coming out for both players. Gonna definitely need to think about reclaim on this map. As I was saying, there's a ton of it, and I'm thinking this could get super duper spammy. I think that would be a good direction to head on this. And I do not see an air factory in the works for Captain Chlorgas. I think he may end up regretting that because Broke Soul Chief is rushing his air factory up, saying GG, that was stupid, misclick. I think he may have the game handed to him in the form of lack of air. This is going to be interesting to watch. We've got a bomber coming first. That was pretty predictable. Got raiding parties headed out to both sides. We've got Mantis on the right from Broke Soul Chief, and we've got a Hunter coming up the middle that's immediately going to get popped off by the ACU there, and some Mantis on the southern side. And this reclaim is going to be picked up by Captain Chlorgas very early in the game. That's going to give him a huge mass lead. But here comes Mr. Bomber. Build power may be an issue. That bomber is going to kill off this engineer, preventing the finish of the power build. He's going to loop around. Here comes stationary anti-air. Mobile anti-air, sorry, my bad. And another bomber. That is 2 bombers online, sweeping up those engineers. The mobile anti-air is going to pick off that bomber on the southern side. And then this one over here is going to get the expansion. So Broke Soul basically just crippled Captain Chlorgas's early game. He's got his ACU headed off to the north, going to try to secure this expansion, and he does have a hold of the southern expansion, so he's basically going to end up with 75% map control, I think. The problem is he's got all of his mobile anti-air on this side. He's still having to deal with bombers, and he's still not building an air factory. Why is he not building an air factory? I don't know. That is honestly a pretty dumb idea. Once your opponent is already harassing you this heavily with bombers, I don't know why you would not build an air factory. You're not going to get a land spam game going that's not interfered with. Alright, Captain Chlorgas throwing down a land factory over here in the expansion. He is calling that his own. He's got a couple anti-air. He's got a point defense. He's pretty much setting up camp, planning on an extended stay. And on this side, we're finally getting an engineer out here. The first one was killed off. This was going to start throwing down the necessary parts. Excuse me. I can't stop yawning. Probably need to go get some extra sleep, but you know how that goes. Subcom always prevents sleep. Alright, we got early Tech 2 upgrade, and not building a land factory over here. That's going to be a mistake. What I am seeing here is that Captain Chlorgas has essentially handed the early part of the game over to Broke Soul with no contest. And you might say, but Brink, he has 75% map control. And I say to you, Broke Soul managed to pick up the rest of that reclaim in the mid with his ACU, and he got Tech 2 online with that reclaim. Those bombers were left alive for so long. That sucker's got 10 kills before it dies. You can see how strong the Rhino is versus Tech 1 spam, especially considering the fact that the Mantis is a relatively weak Tech 1 tank. That Tech 2 upgrade is going to do a lot of good for Broke Soul Chief, and he also has, look at this, 2 Tech 2 max upgrades already, and he's working on a third. So he took the tech option, and since no air denial was done by Captain Chlorgas, he was able to use just a couple of bombers, a teeny tiny handful of mass, to completely hold back his opponent. So I'm really not exaggerating when I say that Captain Chlorgas basically handed the game away in the form of lack of interceptors. We do have a Jester up here that's going to pull a little bit of harassment, try to take out some of these mass extractors. And incoming interceptor, that is going to take it out pretty easily, I think, especially considering the fact that there is no opposition. Hopefully, just because I'm yawning, you guys won't fall asleep. That would be terrible. I would consider myself a failure of a caster if someone fell asleep on one of my casts. That would just be sad. Alright. Rhinos teaming up at the gap to stop the flow of units. We do have Tech 2 online for Captain Chlorgas. He is pushing Rhinos out this way and that way, trying to catch up with Broke Soul Chief's production. He does have a huge amount of Mantis online, but once you get a group of 6 or 7 Rhinos in one spot, mass for mass, the Rhinos are going to win versus the Mantis. And you may think that I'm incredibly wrong about that, but higher tier units pack more damage per area than lower tier units do. So when you have a nice neat little clump of Rhinos, they're going to outperform a group many times their size in Mantis that has to spread out and can't all get in range at the same time. You can see that was basically no losses, and he wiped out a huge number of Mantis. But there is a gun upgraded ACU moving in that is going to pop off most of those Rhinos in with a series of overcharges. Going to pull a vet on that ACU, and that is going to continue southward. Not good at all. Broke Soul Chief is going to get overrun on the southern side as well. He was not able to build a point defense. He has an unupgraded commander. It does have a veterancy, but no upgrades. And that is going to put him in a little bit of a pickle. The ACU has gone to the southern side, so we're going to see some Rhinos move in on the north. There are point defense there, though, so I don't think they will get too terribly far because the Rhinos cannot fire over the wall sections, and Captain Chlorgas successfully netting himself another patch of reclaim. Let's go ahead and check in here. We've got 5,000 reclaim for Broke Soul, and 16 pushing 17 for Captain Chlorgas. He is far behind on income. He actually, yeah, he is 15 behind on mass income, but that massive advantage in reclaim is what is feeding his war machine at the moment. He is reclaiming with his ACU, sucking up as much mass as he can get his hands on to turn out more tanks. And that looks like a Tech 3 land factory coming online, and for Broke Soul as well. And then with the addition of some of these mass extractors in the outlying areas coming online, he really needs to get that one. I don't know why that one isn't built. Maybe the Rhinos killed it right there. Yeah, that is going to put Captain Chlorgas in the lead in eco. I think Broke Soul is mass or power stalling. Yes, he is. He's not able to spend all his mass and keep his head above water. You can see this huge group of Tech 1 power generators. Surprisingly, we're at the Tech 3 phase, still building on Tech 1 power generators. That is kind of scary. Control K'ing the excess build power here to reclaim those factories and get them out of the way. I can kind of understand this, though, because there are no shields. This is the Cybern matchup, so you don't really have any strong shields. You're not going to see point defense wars. You don't have to maintain mobile shields. As long as you're not breaking your own economy, You really don't need that much power as a Cybern player. The Mantis do cost a bit more power, but when you compare that to shield costs and upgrade costs for other factions, it's really not that big a deal. We're seeing Loyalists as the preferred Tech 3 unit on the southern side. That is going to see some raiding strength, going to run in to try to intercept this brick. 2 Loyalists and a handful of Rhinos firing on it. It's not going to last long. And we're seeing bricks produced for Broke Soul Chief. There is a brick coming out of the factory right there and another one building. So we're seeing a little bit of contrast in playing styles. And a drop. That is Medusa, the single worst artillery you could try to drop on someone. But in this case, flack. That was sad. I would have loved to see a drop here, because even though it's Medusas, these power generators are packed in so tightly. Drop 6 Medusa, fire on that power generator, you could probably kill all 8 of those power generators very easily. And that could quickly put a hurting on the other player as far as power goes. This brick is doing work. We're seeing excellent fronting with the Tech 1 artillery. Gonna kite that brick away. There's 2 bricks here though, so I don't think this is gonna work out well for this guy. He is gonna kill 1. The Rhino's coming in for extra damage. He may actually get that. That is quite amazing. Usually don't see little engagements like that where the outcome is that skewed from what it should be, but that is a hero brick right there. Nicely done on the micro by Broke Soul Chief. We do have a Corsair online for Captain Chlorgas, or we did ever so briefly, then the flak popped it off, and then we've got this little guy. We've got a Trebuchet right here. You can see the range on that unit. That is smart placement. He is putting it right here on the cliff. It is able to fire over on the map and pretty much harass any units that come from any direction. That is going to be an incredibly useful piece of artillery. Actually, as much as I hate stationary defenses, this is one of the few maps where I could actually stand to see a Tech 2 artillery installation with a couple of P-gens around it in this area, because you would have a firing range like this with the Tech 2 stationary artillery. No, actually it would be bigger than that. Let me see. I can't select it. I may not be able to with this either. Yes, I can. Alright, so that would be your range right there. And that would actually be a very mass efficient artillery. Your enemy could not come anywhere near you without getting hit, and the high area of effect and the fact that this is 100% spam would mean that you were laying down a ton of damage with a single artillery piece. You could actually come out as mass efficient in this scenario. So there you go, Brink said it. You can actually build a Tech 2 stationary artillery and come out ahead. What? Bet you thought this day would never come. Alright, we've got 2 Tech 2 power generators online on the southern side. And then on the northern side, I do believe that we have a... yeah, there's a Tech 3 P-Gen. I saw the power income and I knew that there had to be one somewhere. We've got 2 Tech 3 mass extractors, the Tech 3 P-Gen, and we're building a Monkey Lord. Broken Soul now up to 26k reclaim. He's been working hard to suck that mass up and get it to the back so he can build that Monkey Lord. Captain is still ahead though, 37,000 reclaim, but he is a little bit behind on real income. He's got a lot of Tech 2 engineers out here fronted by these bricks. And I think he's going to end up having a problem though, because this Monkey Lord is going to finish, and I don't think he has a high enough unit concentration to actually kill the Monkey Lord. His only hope would be to run back towards base and try to mass up enough bricks that he can land 2 overcharges with his ACU and have sufficient firepower from about 10 bricks or so to kill that Monkey Lord. And we're about to see it. It has been scouted. He's shooting scouts all over the place. You can see the contraction of units. He's going to pull all of his units down that are in the south. Monkey Lord is on the prowl. I was talking about this in Aeolus the other night, and some people were agreeing with me. I think the Monkey Lord is the very definition of a cheese unit. It is either the most mass efficient assassin unit ever made in this game. It either kills everyone or it kills no one, dies horribly, is a mass donation, and you would have been better off not building it in the first place. I don't understand how one unit can, in 2 different games, be either the strongest thing on the field or the most terrible idea your team ever had. These 2 bricks are doing awesome work, by the way. This is headed up north. These are going to tear a new one in the build power up here. This is going to be horrendous. There is nothing in that base to stop 2 bricks except for the ACU. I actually would have loved to see a T3 Gen snipe. That could have easily been done without any trouble at all. But they are going to kite around the Tech 3 HQ, which is right here. I think he could have snagged it before the ACU came in, actually. And, okay, is there not a power storage? That's going to be an issue. I don't think he has a power storage. Could he have forgotten? Nope, there it is. All right. So that is taken care of. No more bricks in the northern base. We can refocus our attention on this huge swarm of bricks. Captain Chlorgas did it. He contracted and built up a sufficient number of bricks that if he groups them all together and attacks the Monkey Lord all at once, he should have no problem killing it, and then he will be free to reclaim that mass and build whatever the hell he wants. He's also got Tech 2 gunships in harassing. There is a vet on that Monkey Lord, and another vet. Extra bricks swooping in, 1,600, and Monkey Lord down. Still a sufficient number of bricks to come in and clear that area. Engineers on the way from Broke Soul Chief. Captain Chlorgas really needs to get into the northern side. He has got to get that reclaim, otherwise it is going to end very badly for him. Broke Soul is far, far ahead on Eco and has surpassed him on reclaim as well. Actually, they have almost exactly the same amount of reclaim. There we go. Engineers have been cleaned up. We've got bricks sitting here waiting. Captain Chlorgas has got to reclaim that thing. Otherwise, I think he is going to lose this because Broke Soul Chief has a very strong lead in Eco. He actually has 3 times the Eco that Captain Chlorgas has, which is pretty dang impressive in a game like this. Captain Chlorgas is sucking up the Tech 3 Rex, though. That is going to give him plenty of mass to build up a new army with, and hopefully he will be able to secure that Monkey Lord. Broke Soul, I've got to admire his perseverance. He is bringing all of these Tech 1 engineers onto the scene, trying to get that wreck, but alas, it is not meant to be. There's now 5 bricks to his 4 up here, and we've got more bricks moving northward. And see, this is a very excellent choice here. No radar coverage, though. I was seeing the late firing pattern on that. If you can separate a group of units, hold against the main force, and then cut off the supply chain, you can pick off units one at a time as they're streaming in from the factory, and you can actually take out a hugely superior number of units very easily if you manipulate the playfield like that. And there we see that the line has been broken. Broke Soul has no more units on this side. He's now got 3 bricks in his base, well, 2 bricks, and he's building another Monkey Lord, which he nearly has finished. But Captain Chlorgas is reclaiming like a madman. Broke Soul has 53, 54 reclaim, and Captain Chlorgas has 66, pulling well ahead once again and rushing that Monkey Lord like nobody's business. He's going to throw that thing up and have it at his disposal to do denial against this Monkey Lord. I cannot believe we've actually got a 40-minute game on this map. This is ludicrous. I would have never thought that one would last this long. And we've got a quantum gateway being planted right here. That's pretty strange on this map. This is a 5K land map, and we're seeing quantum gateways and multiple T4s. How does it reach this point. We got huge armies of bricks as well as monkey lords facing off in the center, kind of twisting and twirling and moving around and not really sure what we're going to do. And that's going to be a strong win for Broke Soul. I thought it was going to be Captain Chlorgas, but Broke Soul had enough bricks in the area to actually pull that one off. Now we're going to see another contraction from Captain Chlorgas. He does not have enough units to hold all the fronts. He has 3 bricks to his name, but he's building a megalith. What? He's reclaiming these monkey lords with the Tech 2 engineer as speedily as he can. He's going to hold these 3 bricks with his ACU, hopefully, if he doesn't die. Oh my, that's a lot of health bit off of that. And yes, he is prioritizing this area, reclaiming with Tech 2 engineers as quickly as he can. Take a look at Broke Soul Chief's intel. He does not have that megalith scouted. Actually, he doesn't really have any radar coverage, hardly. And he is being denied access to the base. Captain Chlorgas is actually doing a pretty dang good job of pulling a win out of this. He managed to reclaim all, well, 2.5 monkey lords. He got a little over half of this one, plus all the T3 Rex, and then he got both of these. Oh my. ACU in range of the megalith. No, that's a support commander. Okay, I'm getting all excited about nothing. Support commander is going to get his face knocked off by that megalith, and the megalith is going to crawl northwards. Got some bricks coming in behind, but alas, there is nothing to stop the rampage of this megalith. The megalith is pretty much the king of the battlefield in any map, especially on a 5K when you really can't do anything about it. Soul Chief is going to try to hide under the megalith itself, but is going to get stepped on. Excuse me. Alright, that is the end of this game. Very well done by Captain Chlorgas. I thought he lost it a couple of times there, and not having air really hurt him. I am kind of surprised that he won it without air early. He could have very easily lost it, and he also lost the opportunity for an early win. I firmly believe that if he had pulled a little bit stronger air early, this would have been about a 15-minute game instead of a 50-minute game. But kudos to him, he actually pulled it out and won it with a megalith of all things on a freaking 5K map, pulling out a megalith. How does that happen? Epic game, guys. Well done to both of you. Alright, guys, that's going to wrap up this game and this cast. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know that was an interesting game, if nothing else. That was one of the oddest ones that I've seen in a long time. That was some weird game flow. And that's it for me. I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.